Welcome to another episode of PHP Machines. In this episode, we will create a digital clock. So the clock looks like this. And in order to create this clock or this machine, we will use PHP and jQuery. So first of all, let's understand what jQuery is. If we go to W3 Schools, here we can see jQuery. So jQuery is nothing but a short form of JavaScript. So it is a JavaScript library, and people like to use jQuery instead of pure JavaScript. Okay, because writing in JavaScript will be little long, but writing in jQuery will be very short. Okay, so that's the difference between jQuery and JavaScript. It's JavaScript, but you can write a lot less. You will be writing lot less code than if you would write in JavaScript. And since jQuery is a library, we have to download this library here. So this is the jQuery website, and if you click here, you can download the jQuery library. So let's start creating today's machine. Now, first of all, let me go to Infinity Free. Let me log in. Let's take a look at the machines we have created so far. So in the previous episode, we created stopwatch. So first of all, let's add our today's machine, which is digital clock, in our machines page. Okay, so let me create a folder and name it digital clock. After that, let's create a index.php file, and for now let's just print hello for now. Now let's add our machine in the machine list page. So this is the name of the folder, and this is the name. So our machine has been added. I noticed something. The title of our machine list page is wrong. So let's fix that. So let's name it machines instead of roll dice. So now if we go to our digital clock, it prints hello. Okay, so to start, let me first of all, so what is the difference between JavaScript and jQuery? Okay, so let's go to digital clock. First of all, let's start with the HTML template. Doc type HTML. HTML as head and body. So let's give the title of digital clock. So if we load our page, we have our plain page. Okay, so first of all, let me give a few examples of JavaScript and then jQuery. Okay, let's say we'd like to create something like if we'll create a paragraph, and if we click on that paragraph, then it will just disappear. Okay, so this is a paragraph. So I have created here a paragraph, and if we click on this paragraph, then it should hide or it should disappear. Okay, so right now if I click, nothing happens. For that, we need to write JavaScript. So just before the end of the body, we write script. So Let's first do it in JavaScript. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to first select that paragraph. So document dot get element by id. Let's give our paragraph id of let's give it para. So let's select our paragraph and let's add an event listener. Add event list listener. So the event will be click, and then after we click we run this function. Okay, so what should happen if we click on this paragraph? It should hide. Okay, so in order to do that, let's select that paragraph again, get element by id. So in order to hide, we need to change the css property. Okay, so in order to change the css property, we have to write dot style, and then after that we give the css property, which will be display. So there is a css property called display, and if we give it a value of none, then it will hide. Okay, so let's save it. So if I click on this paragraph, it will hide. So that was JavaScript. Now let's do the same thing using jQuery. Okay, so first of all, in order to use jQuery, we need to add the jQuery library or download that file and link it. Okay, so one way we can add the library is we just we paste this line, okay, in the head. So to use JavaScript, we have to paste this line that will use this library. Okay, so after that, now we can use jQuery. So first of all, let me comment this out. So if I comment this code, then this will be removed. Okay, this will not work. Now let's do the same thing using jQuery. So in order to select this paragraph in jQuery, it's simple. We just write dollar and then we give a selector. Okay, so our selector is id, so has para. Okay, so that will select this paragraph. This is the same as document.get element by id. Okay, this is in jQuery. So to add event listener, we just right click and then we give the function, okay, to run. So what should happen if we click on this paragraph? It should go away. Okay, so the way to do that is we can select that paragraph and then just do hide. Okay, we select the paragraph, and if we do dot hide, then this will just remove this paragraph. So let's check it. So if I click here, then it will hide. So this does the same thing as this. Okay, now let's compare what is the difference between JavaScript and jQuery. So JavaScript, jQuery, the code is a lot shorter. Okay, with JavaScript the code was long. We can actually write this in single line. So if we do like this, then this is the code. Okay, so if we use JavaScript, then we have to use this to select element, and then we have to add event like this. Okay, but with jQuery we just use this approach, this format, this syntax, and then to add event listener we just do click and like this. Okay, so now let me give another example. Now in this example, let's create a button. Okay, and it says click me. Now what should happen is if we click on this button, then it should put some context in a container. Okay, so let's create a container and give it an ID of content. We have created a container here. Now if we click on the button, then it should write something here, right? Okay, like hello. For that, let's give the ID of btn on the button. Now to do this using JavaScript, we again do document.get element by id. We select our button and then we add the event listener, add event list listener, and then the event is click, and then we give the function to run. So what should happen if we click? We should add some text inside this box. Okay, so for that we first need to select this container. So document.get element by id, and then the id will be content, and then to add some text inside it, we do dot inner HTML equal to, and then let's put hello. Okay, so this is how we put text inside our container. So now if I click on here, then it puts hello inside this box. Okay, now to do the same thing using jQuery, what we can do is we first need to select the button. So in order to select our button, we do has btn. Okay, and then we do click and then function. So this is how we attach event listener to this button. So when you click on the button, we should put some content here. Okay, so to do that, we select our content and do dot text. So this will the text method will insert text inside here. Okay, so if I do hello, now if we click on the button, it does the same thing. Okay, now let's again compare our JavaScript and jQuery. So we can use jQuery to do the same thing that we do with JavaScript. The benefit is the code will be a lot shorter. Okay, the syntax is a lot short and concise, and people generally prefer to use jQuery instead of pure JavaScript. Okay, because we can see here, so the jQuery website says with write less do more. Okay, so with less code you can do more. That's the main idea. Okay, now we are ready to implement our machine for the day. So first of all, let's create the functionality, and later we'll add styling. The styling is not that complicated in the digital clock. So let's now start building our machine. So here we can see we need a title, so let's add the heading and let's give it digital clock. After that, we'll create a container to put these three elements. This is date, this is day, and this is time. Okay, so we'll create like this. We'll create a container first of all, and inside it we'll create three separate containers. Okay, one for each. So on the top we'll put date, so let's give it ID of date. Here we'll put day, so let's give it ID of day, and here we'll put time. Okay, so if we structure it like this, then it will be easy from the script to insert data here in the container. Okay, and let's also give the main container of ID of clock. So now let's save it. So now how can we find today's date or time? Okay, so for that we will be using two functions of PHP. So one is date. PHP has a date function that will give today's date. Okay, and the way we'll do is, so the function looks like this, date, and if we run it, then if we pass in L, then it gives day. So what we pass in here is format. Okay, format string. Okay, so by passing different format we can get date, day, and things like that. For example, if we pass L, it gives Tuesday. Okay, here we can see if we give L, then it gives day. If we need the today's date, then we pass the format string something like Y means year, month, day. Okay, so if we run it, then it now gives us the today's date. Okay, that is how we will get today's date and day. And for getting the time, we will use another function called time. Okay, the time function will give us time. Okay, but it will give us time in something like this way. So it gives this long number. Okay, and this number is number of seconds that has passed since January 1, 1970. Okay, this is called Unix epoch. So this is number of seconds that has passed since January 1, 1970. Okay, now using this large number we can extract to the hour, minute and second. Okay, by doing some calculations. If we run it, it keeps on changing because it is seconds. Okay, if I click here again, it now is 10. If I click here again, it has reached 14. Okay, now this is the number of seconds. Okay, so it keeps on incrementing every second. So this is the number of seconds since January 1, 1970. Okay, so if we know that, then we can using this data we can extract hour, minute and second. Okay, now let's start our script. First of all, let's ask for today's date. Okay, and we will ask PHP. So how we'll do is we'll insert a PHP block here. Okay, this is the PHP block, and now we can write PHP code. Let's just echo date. Okay, and let's give the format year, month and day. So this much is PHP code, and we have embedded our PHP inside this JavaScript code. Okay, now let's see what happens if I save it. If I refresh it, let's look at our page source. Okay, now what we see is we don't see the PHP code here. Okay, we just get the date. Now how this works is, if we use PHP block anywhere, then the server will first execute this code. Okay, and whatever it prints will then be inserted here, and it will be returned. It will be returned to us. Okay, now what this means is, when we request this page, we will never see this block, PHP block. Okay, we will only see what has been echoed by the PHP. Okay, so this block echoed this to this date, so that is why that got inserted here. Okay, so that is important to understand, that PHP code will first get executed on the server, and then whatever it prints will then be appended on the on the HTML page, and this whole HTML page will be returned from the server. Okay, now let's so we got the date. Now let's request today's day. So to get the day, we can now give the format string L. Okay, L will give us day. Let's save it. If we check our code, then again it has executed. It has printed Tuesday now. Okay, so we have now received date and day. We'll use these from JavaScript here. Okay, jQuery here. Finally, let's ask for the time. So now to get time, we use the time function. Okay, and so time, if we call time function, then it will give us the number of seconds. Okay, number of seconds here. See, and we don't need quote here. Okay, because this is number, these are strings. So in order to we don't need this quote here. So now we can see we have received all the data from the server. Now we can use JavaScript or jQuery in order to build the clock using these data. Okay, now let's insert these values into these containers. Okay, the way to do that in jQuery is, let's insert the date first, date inside here. So using jQuery, first we select our container here. Okay, so by id, so we give this selects this container, and inside it we use dot text to put text inside that container. Okay, and what we give is the date. Okay, that will insert date inside this. Now for day we give day, and for time we insert time. Okay, now let's save it. Let me actually okay, we'll add styling at the end. So let's see here. Now we see our date, today's date, and day, and number of seconds. Okay, now if I refresh it, we can see the number of seconds keep on changing. So 27, 29, 30, 31. So every second this number is increasing. Okay, okay, now so we need to display this time in this format, which is hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay, now how we can do that is we can change this number using this Unix epoch time, which is shown here. Okay, that number is called Unix epoch. That is nothing but just number of seconds since January 1, 1970. Okay, so there are few ways we can convert this into hour, minute, and second. Okay, let me show an easier approach. Either we can manually do some calculations and extract the number of seconds from here, hours, minute. Another way we can do that is using JavaScript. We can change that number into date. Okay, so object, and from that we can get hour, minute, second directly. Okay, I'll show that. So let's create a date object. This is how we create an object in JavaScript, and we pass in the time. Okay, which is here. Now we can call method on this object. Okay, now in order to get the hours, it's simple. We just call dot get hours to get hours. For minutes we call get minutes method, and for seconds we call get seconds method. Okay, now this is what is called an object. Okay, see how we create an object. If we search for JavaScript date, then here we can see first we need to create an object like this. After that we can use this object like this. Okay, so we use this approach, new date, we created an object, and after that we can use this object, okay, to get many things. So I called get hours, get minute, and get second method on this object. Okay, now objects have many methods. To see what methods object has, we can see here. We can see here date object has these methods: get full year, we can get month, we can get day, we can get hours. So the benefit of this approach is we need not do the calculations ourselves, right? We need not do calculations ourselves. We just created this object and then we extracted the hour, minute, and second. There is one problem. Okay, this time is in seconds. Okay, but date requires it to be in milliseconds. Okay, we can see here it requires it to be in milliseconds. So to convert that into milliseconds, it's simple. We just multiply it by 1000. Okay, so we converted seconds into milliseconds. Now we have hours, minute, and second. We just need to display it here. So we can just display hours. Let's append it to column, and let's show minute, and let's append it to colon, and let's show seconds. Okay, let's save it. Now we can see it has correctly shown us the hour, minute and second. Okay, 18 is 6. You can see here it's 6:14 and it is 6:14. Okay, now if we refresh it, the second keeps changing. 43, 45, 46. Okay, now we need to make it so that it changes without us having to refresh it. Okay, like shown here. For that we can use our timer. We have used timer in our previous machine, so we can do that using timers. Okay, so what we'll do is we will start a timer every second. Let's call this function called start timer, and let's call it every second. Okay, what this will do is this will call this function every 1 second. Okay, now let's create this function. Let's create this function. Okay, now what do we need to do in this function? First of all, we need to increment this second, okay, by 1, because this function is being called every second, so we need to increment a second. And like previous machine, we need to put logic for changing the minute and hour. Okay, so now if seconds reaches 60, then we need to increase the minute by 1, and we need to reset our seconds. Similarly, if the minute reaches 60, then we need to increment the hour by 1, and we need to reset our minute and second. Okay, so this will now correctly increase our hour, minute and second every second. Okay, so every second this function gets called, and it will correctly change our minute, hour and second. The final thing we need to do is we just need to update our minute and second in this container. Okay, in this time container. So now let's see if it works. Now we can see our time is increasing. Okay, our clock is working, our clock is increasing every second. So again, how did this work? So when we request our page, this will get executed, right? This PHP will get executed once. Okay, so if we see here, then day and time is fixed. Okay, after that we need to use timer to increase our time ourselves. Okay, so that is why we did this. That is why we need to increase the hour, minute, second. Okay, because the one when we request our page, the day and time will come from the server, but it will not keep on changing. Okay, so finally now let's complete our machine by adding styling, so to make our page look nicer. So for that, let me remove all this. We can search for colors and W3 schools. Okay, this page has name of colors. Sorry, this page has name of colors. We can pick some color. Let's pick sign. So now let's add styling. So in order to add styling to our page, we write style inside head, and first of all let's add the background color to our body. Okay, so let's add the background color, and after that let's text align everything to the center. Now let's increase our heading. So in order to increase our heading, let's make the font size something like 120 pixel. Now let's change our font style to something like Tehoma. Sorry, we need to write font family, so that will make it a sans serif. After that, now let's increase our font for the clock container. So let's make the font size 60 pixel. Finally, let's add some spacing at the top. So for that we can use padding top, and let's add something like 100 pixel. So in this way our machine is complete. Our machine shows today's date, day and time. So if we refresh our page, then it shows the correct time, and our date time are not coming from our computer, it is coming from the server. So even if our computer doesn't work, our date time is wrong, or if our date time is incorrect, then still this will work because these are coming from the server. Okay, so in this way our mission for today is complete. Hope you like this episode. If there is any question, please put it on the comments. I will try my best to help. So in this episode we learned how to use jQuery and PHP to create a digital clock. In another episode we'll create other useful machines. This much for now. Thanks for watching.